See, when we think of skincare, the first thing that comes to our mind or our core focus is that skin is an organ, and
Yeah.
it is a very important part of our body. This like we use skincare not just for vanity or for beauty. You need skincare for healthy skin, and to keep any biological organ healthy, you need a holistic approach. When I say holistic and specifically talking about skincare, there are a few basic things that everyone's skin needs, which is hydration, protection from oxidative stress, and some sort of nutrient that it is not getting from the body. So what we've done at AMINU when we think of skincare is make products multifunctional and make sure that even with single product, people are getting a lot of benefits and nutrients in their skin, and the skin is being taken care of in a holistic manner.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Voice It with Karishma. Today we have someone who is from a very interesting industry, something that I am very personally interested in. He has very kindly agreed to, share his insights about the brand, talk to us, take us through the journey of how he started along with his co-founder. We have Mr. Aman Mohunta today over here with us. He is the co-founder of AMINU. It is a holistic high-performance skincare brand. We're going to get to know a lot more about the brand and about Mr. Aman. So firstly, Mr. Aman, thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. It's lovely to have you here, and we're looking forward to a very insightful conversation with you today.
Thanks a lot, Kushbu, for having me over the podcast, and the feeling is very mutual. I'm also excited and looking forward to a very candid and interesting discussion.
Fantastic. All right. So firstly, I really want to know, and I'm sure that, once the listeners have heard the brand, they want to know what the word means, why you chose the name AMINU. Please elaborate on that.
So AMINU very simply means safe and secure.
Okay.
And a deeper meaning of AMINU is perfection in the field of science, mathematics, and arts. And
Wow.
when we started about thinking about what ideal skincare should be, we realized it has to be exactly that. It has to be perfect when it comes to understanding skin science and ingredient science. It has to be perfect in terms of the formulation mathematics, because the kind of ingredients we are dealing with, 0.1% here and there also makes a huge difference. And third, art, because end of the day, the visual appeal, the sensory also makes a huge difference, and that's where the art element comes into play. So that's skincare for us, and that's AMINU.
Wow, beautiful. I actually love the meaning behind it and really like the name also. It's very easy, it's easy to pronounce, it's easy to kind of have a recall value also. Fantastic. So what I wanted to know was, I am somebody who loves all things holistic, and which is why, it's such a big part of my own practice, such a big part of the kind of, work that I do as well. What I wanted to know from you was, Mr. Aman, if you could kind of tell us, what your idea behind, having a brand which is high performance holistic, when you say that, can you walk us through the journey, and can you explain what you mean by, creating a brand like this?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you picked up on that. See, when we think of skincare, the first thing that comes to our mind or our core focus is that skin is an organ, and it is a very important part of our body. This like we use skincare not just for vanity or for beauty. You need skincare for healthy skin, and to keep any biological organ healthy, you need a holistic approach. When I say holistic and specifically talking about skincare, there are a few basic things that everyone's skin needs, which is hydration, protection from oxidative stress, and some sort of nutrient that it is not getting from the body. So what we've done at AMINU when we think of skincare is make products multifunctional and make sure that even with single product, people are getting a lot of benefits and nutrients in their skin, and the skin is being taken care of in a holistic manner.
Fab. Fantastic.
So
That sounds
that's
nice.
our approach. If I can sort of just humor you a little more, for example, you'll see a lot of today, a lot of brands selling just vitamin C serum.
Yes.
But your skin does not need only vitamin C. It needs vitamin C, it needs hydrating agent, maybe a hyaluronic acid. It needs other things based on what your skin's unique needs are. Your skin and my skin may not need the same nutrients, right?
Yes.
So you need that holistic active base in your product. The other thing that has happened is, say, vitamin C again. It becomes a trending ingredient. Then from a cleanser to a scrub to a cream, serum, everything will have vitamin C.
Yes.
And the way we try to answer that is yes, if you have vitamin C deficiency, does not mean you'll eat oranges in breakfast, lunch, dinner, tea, and every time, right? You will eat a little more of vitamin C, but you'll eat a lot of other things also.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
want to take the same approach to skincare that yes, a curative or a preventive product may need a little extra of something, but these some basic things everybody needs.
Yes.
And that's what holistic skincare is for us.
Wow, that sounds really nice. I actually love the ideology behind the fact that, you mentioned something where a product can be much more and it could actually be of use to a lot of more components of the skin rather than just, having one use of it. I think I love that aspect. I want to ask you, I did have a look at the website, and, one of the things that I really liked is that you all have so many different products which cater to so many different needs. Please elaborate on that. I would love to know how you kind of manage to, create so many different products, separate for the skin, separate for the body, and, how does it work behind the scenes? Is it really hectic to be managing so many SKUs, or, please share this.
Yeah, like to answer the last part, yes, it is hectic, but at the same time, it's very satisfying when we hear customers come back to us and say that our products really help them improve their skin health.
Yes.
Answering your question on why such a large product portfolio and what was the thought behind it, when we started working on AMINU, we wanted to sort of establish a product line which had solution for everybody. Like I said, we are not here selling a vitamin C or a hyaluronic acid.
Yes.
What we want to do is promote and help everybody get healthy skin.
Yes.
Now, like I said, your skin's need might be different from mine and from everybody else's. So the
Yes.
reason we have such a large product portfolio is because we want to address everybody's skin and concerns. And we
Yes.
don't want to be in a situation where anyone approaches us and we have to say, no, sorry, we don't have a product for you. So
Yes.
that is the reason we started off with such a large portfolio. And the other idea there is that we will keep innovating on a continuous basis.
Yes.
For example, you see a few products that may get replaced by better versions of themselves in the coming months. So that, like I said, we have a solution for everybody depending on their skin need and concern, not based on what is trending.
Absolutely. I actually honestly feel like you kind of, nailed a very important thing, which I personally tell a lot of my clients. I have this thing where, these fads that come out, right? So just like diet fads, we also have these skincare fads.
Absolutely.
Every 2 years there will be some kind of a product, and it's trend. Everybody will be like so obsessed with it, and they're like, oh, I have to try this, oh, I have to do this, right? But Aman, please tell me what you think that. When you spoke about a holistic skincare, you spoke about the fact where, you spend a lot of time, and you and your team, you're all spend a lot of time to be doing this kind of R&D research about, what is it that actually people need, how the products are made. I actually kind of figured out that your products are, a very large component of the product is natural. Yes. All the ingredients that come in, they're all from natural sources, and there's very, very, very minimum use of anything which is not really meant to be on our skin. And I personally propagate this a lot because I feel like anything artificial or anything which is processed too much is not supposed to be on our plate, on our skin, in our environment. So please tell us about, how difficult is it to do all this research? How difficult is it to then kind of, apply it on your products, and what is the consumer response like? Please tell us about that.
So it is, I would say, not easy, but it is very satisfying because of the kind of response we're getting from customers. The approach we have taken is, like I said, we are not a trend-driven skincare product line. Our starting point is what is the skin biology. And if there is some concern in a skin, like say pigmentation, aging, acne, what is the science behind it? Why is that happening in the skin? And now to fix that, what are the kind of specialty ingredients or botanicals or actives that are there in the market or across the world? We're not only limiting ourselves to India. In fact, we get our ingredients from 41 countries.
Fantastic.
So after that, then the approach is, okay, now we have a solution which is good for the skin. Also, let's make sure that it does not have any collateral damage on your skin or on the environment.
Yes.
And then this third stage becomes is, okay, now let's also give people a sensory which they will enjoy having. So
Yes.
we don't want to put you in a situation where you're like, oh my God, I have an acne, but I have to use this product which I don't like, but I'm using it just for acne. So let's make skincare serious, but at the same time fun while using it. So that's the approach we've taken. And yes, operationally, I would have preferred as a co-founder that there were a lot more specialty ingredients that were being researched and made in India. But
Yes.
unfortunately, most of that research right now happens in either Europe, Australia, North America, or Southeast Asia. North Asia, sorry, not Southeast Asia.
Yes.
So that's what it is. In terms of your point on natural, what we realized when we entered this industry was there is a lot of miscommunication and maybe greenwashing on what natural is. You'll
Yes.
find a lot of brands in the market which are 95% synthetic, or at least a huge part of it is synthetic, and will only add one active which is natural and say that, oh, we are also natural. They will make the bottle green, label green, and things like that. What we thought was, okay, let's take a totally different approach to this. We put the exact percentage of the natural content in our product on each package.
That's fantastic.
Which then ranges from 92% to 100%. So if a product is only 92%, we are very transparent and honest about it. Yes, this product is only 92% natural. There are some products which are 100% natural. So like at least then as a user, you can make a more informed decision whether this is the right product for you or not. So yes. I think transparency is something that we want to focus on a lot and keep driving it as much as we can.
I think the transparency aspect is where I feel like it creates such a big impact on the consumer, because in today's day and time, there's an overwhelm of everything, especially in an industry where we're talking about needs for personal branded product, personal usage products. I feel like there is so much of overwhelm, and there's this thing where every brand comes up with your own marketing techniques of, kind of putting out a thing where, oh, this is my USP. So I feel like, if any brand is coming out with transparency, I think it's fantastic to do that. And then, the consumer has a little bit more power to understand what I am putting onto myself and how is it going to be beneficial for me? Should I actually invest in something like this or not? So congratulations on that. I feel going forward, I hope you can remain as transparent as possible and the consumers can benefit from this.
True. No, that's the idea. I would say it's a long journey ahead, but we are ready for it.
Yes, absolutely. You mentioned long journey. So that brings me to my question of, AMINU is almost like your child now. It's been this, whole passion project for you and everything. It's a new brand relatively, right? And, you've done so much of great work with it already. I want to know that, did you as an entrepreneur face any kind of, hindrances, any kind of, issues when you were trying to kind of create the brand, promote it, even from the perspective of creating products for different things, because as I said, your SKU is huge. So please guide us through this thing where, so many young entrepreneurs want to know that when we're starting new brands, when we're starting something which is like our passion and people are still going to need education about it, please tell us what your journey was like and what people can learn from it.
Maybe a long answer to that, and I'll keep touching on different aspects.
Sure.
When we started AMINU, what we saw around was everybody was thinking of not only skincare but personal care from a perspective that, okay, this is trending, this can sell. Let me start on this. Maybe come up with a new marketing concept or communication concept, and then rest everything when it comes to product packaging can be outsourced and sort of taken care of. Today it has become so easy that sitting in my living room, I can come up with a skincare brand without even stepping out of house.
Yes.
So we realized that you'll see a lot of innovation happening in so-called technology areas today.
Yeah.
In form of like these cab aggregators, what you can call Uber, Ola, and Zomato, so many other things. Correct. What we felt was there is a need of setting up at least a benchmark that even personal care, starting with skincare, can also be highly innovation driven.
Yes.
So the approach we took was that we will be a product first company.
Yes.
Let's sort of be very clear about what we want to be, and then we figure out, okay, how do we take it to the end user? Because at our heart, we believe that if you're doing the right thing and the right way, there is an audience for it.
Absolutely.
So we did not sort of, or to be honest with you, read through too many market research reports or sort of things like that. we felt that yes, globally you see a lot of high performing clean beauty brands that are doing so well, then why
Yes.
not India? And when you talk to your friends or sort of their friends of friends and so on, you see a lot of them going abroad and bringing that skincare and using them in India. So
Yes.
that was sort of our only market research that we did. And we decided, okay, we'll start from skin as the first point, then
Yes.
work our way upwards and decide, okay, what the product will look, feel, and be priced at. So I
Yes.
think the biggest lesson I individually have learned from this is persistence is very important.
Yes.
To give you an example, what we sold in our first month, we sold that in one day this month. So within just a matter of a year, the growth has been sort of that fast. And
Yes.
I think as humans, we are not so much tuned to that exponential growth. But if you do the right things, I think those things happen.
Yes.
So persistence, not losing focus. I think one other lesson I can share is that at times when like not every day things will go your way, especially as an entrepreneur. But
Absolutely.
you can't lose focus of where you started with.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'll keep changing, keep pivoting, and then you'll be like just another Me Too brand.
Correct.
Be it personal care, be it anywhere else. So you have to like sort of what should I say? Sometimes dig your heels and sort of stand your ground.
Yes.
That no, this is what I wanted to do. This is what I will do.
Yes.
People will take time listening to what you have to say. Maybe first time they'll not even pay attention. But if
Yes.
you're sure and you're backed by research, then they will come back.
Yes.
That's what our learning has been. So persistence, in one word, is the key, the most important learning for me.
I'm 2000% for what you just said right now, because personally for me also, in the growth journey, in the learning journey, I also have been very, very particular about the whole idea of persistence. And one of the things that you said, and I want to point it out because it's so important, especially for young people starting out. I have so many young people who, come to me and they ask me questions about the entire process of how they should be starting out, what they should be doing, right? So one of the things which I kind of noticed is in this environment which is so dominated by ever changing trends, ever changing demand and supply flow, right? And an uncertainty in the form of environmental hazards, right? We've all gone through it now, and we're all aware that it could happen to us at any point of time, right?
True.
So I understood this thing where if you are somebody who is very adamant on what you believe in, if you continue doing that, no matter what the adversities are, flexibility, adaptability, along with persistence in the first idea that you started out with, right? If
True.
you're very, very sure of it, it kind of leads you to success. It leads you as, and you rightly pointed out, like exponential.
True. True.
It's
Exactly.
very
Exactly.
important. So
So
I love the fact that you mentioned this, that you said the first day says, thank you for being so transparent again. I love this whole transparency thing happening with AMINU. Thank you so much. But I feel like, you mentioned that your first day sale was something that you now make in, it's way higher now,
yes, yes,
right?
yes, yes,
And
absolutely.
people need to understand this. More and more young people need to understand that the business entrepreneurship work does not work like an Instagram reel. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
it doesn't work like that, right? We have to be able to sustain that kind of work, quality, R&D, every single thing that you said, to be able to finally, over a cumulative process, get our
True.
results.
True, true, true. No, 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 absolutely. And just to sort of re-emphasize what you said, and I had missed in my first answer was being flexible at the same time. So just to sort of share it from our example, we've been very adamant that we will not compromise on the ingredient quality, on the concentration of ingredient, and on
Yes.
our formulas. But the feedback we got from some of our users are that, hey, you're a new brand. We like what you're doing, but say the bigger pack size is a little too expensive
Yeah.
for us. So can you do something about that? So we learned from that and then brought out a smaller pack size.
Yes.
So like you said very correctly that you have to be flexible in the way you get there,
Yeah.
but you have to be adamant about where you want to get to.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for reinstating that. I feel like it's a very
Absolutely,
important message.
absolutely.
And Aman, lastly, it's been a wonderful conversation. I feel like, there has been bits and pieces which so many people can kind of like take back and make a very informed decision now. I feel like that's the motive of doing this, right? I just wanted to ask you, lastly, that running a brand, doing every single activity behind it, from conception to actually watching it grow, has its
Yeah.
own perks and it has its own cons. Okay. So, just as a life lesson, you did mention persistence and you did mention flexibility from a work environment perspective, right? But,
Right.
it's the kind of experience you have. I just wanted to know that if there was one single life message that you would like to give to young entrepreneurs, young listeners, everybody who has a little bit of passion and they're waiting to kind of like, um, hone it a little bit more further. If there was one life lesson that you could share, it would be fantastic for us on a closing note.
No, definitely. And this is specifically for people who are, say, at the verge of doing something of their own or have just started out.
Yes.
Two things. One, originality is very important.
Yes.
What I can share is sort of an unsolicited advice, if you may call it so, is don't copy ideas that others are doing, because if you can copy 100 other people will copy it. So be original.
Yes.
And yes, when you do original things, it takes time. And like I said, don't worry about figuring out everything on day one. One
Yes.
step at a time is what sort of is the right approach, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship. And I just remember one lesson I learned from one of my mentors in my previous professional life is every problem might seem like a very big
Yes.
problem. And the way to solve those is solve every problem into smaller problems and then solve them one by one, and you would have solved the bigger problem.
Absolutely right.
So that's the message I can share.
Thank you. That was, it wasn't unsolicited. It was actually very, very needed. Thank you so much for that. I
My
feel like
pleasure.
with every single thing that you mentioned, it could be the way that we look at our mental health. It could be the way that we look at our skincare. It could be the way that we look at, our overall holistic care for our health. Every
True.
single thing needs baby steps.
Big.
Every single thing needs a little bit of breakdown
Yes.
so that the overwhelm is not so much. I also want to mention on this note that I actually really like your packaging.
Thank you so
I
much.
feel like in the world of overwhelm, the way that you said, you spoke about transparency, you spoke about authenticity, you spoke about breaking things down into a simple format. I feel like your packaging kind of resonates that.
Thank
So many brands do so much of fancy in there, like out there on your face kind of packaging, and yours is just simple. It's like real, and I feel like that's the way to go forward. The more real we are, the more authentic, the more transparent we are, and we come with a plethora of experience, knowledge, quality.
True, true,
Success is just a matter of a few years, I
true.
think.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like you said, and just sort of adding to that, think of entrepreneurship as a marathon, not as a 100-meter sprint.
Yes.
So don't try. I see, and not trying to act old or sound old, but I see a lot of these 20-year-olds thinking that I'll start a company and sell it off in a year and just
Oh,
make
yes.
money. I think what we need to have is a much bigger vision spread over years.
Yes.
So continue doing what you are doing.
Oh,
And
thank you.
that's
Thank you for that, because I feel like that is true, because it becomes a trend then, right? I mean,
right.
we're looking at the Western market and we only listen to big cases, right? We never listen to, these unique things that so many other brands are doing in a very nice way. And they're doing it over years and still like retaining their quality, and they're also getting their success rate. So we never listen to those things, but we do listen to the big people, and they sell out, and that influences people. So I feel like it's very important for people to come out and really talk about the actual scene, the actual behind the scenes stuff that happens with every company. Thank you for that.
I'm glad. Thank you so much.
Aman, it's been fantastic having you over here. We've got a lot of good advice from you. We've got a lot of insight about the brand. I hope all the people who are listening, they can experience the brand, they can experience the products, if they resonate with with the kind of philosophy that you just spoke about with your brand vision, right? And I personally feel like wishing AMINU and you a lot more power, a lot more success, a lot more authenticity with moving ahead with all the different products that you will do. It's been a lovely conversation, and it's been fantastic having you over on Voice It.
Same here. I also had a lot of fun sort of talking to you, and it was a good break for me also, from all the sort of day-to-day rigmarole, and in a way, it also helped me look back at our journey. and feel a little more happy about where we've gotten to. And thank you so much for having me on this podcast. And I'm looking forward to listening to more of your episodes and maybe taking in some inspiration on my own also.